Hi there, I hope your day is going well. Mine is a little turbulent and I don't have a whole lot that I plan on vlogging today. I'm having a difficult day because I had such a successful couple of days to my start of my 60-day change my system plan, and this morning I thought I will tackle the porch. As you can see, it looks chaotic and it's in a disarray, and it's been sitting here waiting for progress for 2 years. And I came out here and I realized that one of the reasons I've been putting it off is a sentimental reason. And some of these are going out of bloom, but these Rudbeckia flowers around me, I think there's some sort of Arizona sun variety. They are all over the front of the property, and it comes with the story of a year and a half ago, our family looked different. Everyone knows Maybelline and Prudence and Rupert, but a year and a half ago, we used to have, I feel like I'm already getting choked up. We used to have 2 other amazing dogs, and one of which was Tobi. Tobi was a coonhound. He was a lot of work. He was a big dog with a big personality, required a ton of attention, and he came to join our family 8 years ago when we were building the starting of our life together, and Caleb wanted a big dog, and the perfect dog for him was a coonhound. And I surprised him by finding a coonhound for him to pick from. And there's this memory of that first morning waking up where Caleb was snuggling Tobi as a puppy so hard, and in the morning in Tobi's new home and his 2 new dads, I remember walking in and Tobi looked over Caleb's shoulder as he was sleeping, and it was just this way he looked that made me feel like, yes, this is right. We are doing things right. Things are coming together. And then Tobi went through puppy phase and adolescent puppy phase and adult puppy phase, and he was always into everything, and he sniffed everything. It was one of those things where his nose was down and his ears were off. But being at home more in recent years meant that I've spent more time with the dogs, and I'm outside, Tobi's outside. He's constantly on his own adventures, exploring, doing his own thing. And about a year and a half ago, I was out mowing the lawn, and Tobi was just not walking quite right. And it was one of those things where it just called my attention immediately. And when I was checking him out, I noticed that there was this hard bump on the back of his leg, and I didn't quite understand what that was. I thought it was some sort of a fatty deposit. And we made an appointment to a vet, and it turned out to not be the right vet for the problem. And what the problem ended up being was a tumor that grew so quickly that it took all other real treatment options, away from us to realistically be able to schedule and try for him. And so we went on this monitoring plan and we tried a couple of supporting things for him, but in a matter of weeks, this pea-sized bump blew up to this like fist-sized growth on his leg, and he was miserable. And I was miserable because you could see him, just the life drain out of him and the energy drain out of him. And on one of our last days together, I took him to the garden center with me. And we always went on car rides because they always included treats. And he got donuts that day, and we went to the garden center, and I let him out of the car to just sniff around. And I was in this mentality of, I just dare anyone try to stop me with my sick dog from having a nice time together. And he was infatuated by this one flower bed stand. And he just stood there and kept sniffing and sniffing. And he was normally a dog that would sniff and walk. And for some reason, he just stopped and was fixed on these flowers. So I ended up doing what any regular dad would do in that situation, and I bought all of those flowers, and I put them in the car, and we went home, and they filled up the car with this like musky, earthy scent, and Toby wore his sunglasses and he ate his donut. And it was like a little glimpse of him being happy just for that car ride home. And then we got home and I put these pots of flowers throughout different areas of the property, thinking that he'll just sniff and these flowers that he enjoyed will be a little bit of everywhere. And then a few days after that, Toby was not with us. And I don't think anything fully prepares you for the loss of a pet, but to watch your husband's like best friend in some ways leave him was a level of grief and just sadness I never expected. And it was profound. It was deep and hard and wide, and it still ebbs and flows with me. Thinking about this dog that was a lot of work, but also just had these tender moments of love within our family and just completed it in a lot of ways. And how that energy was gone. It's missing out of our lives. And I did not plant the flowers out of the containers. I couldn't. It was hard to even look at them from time to time, and I avoided those areas of the yard because it got me stuck in grief. And I felt like I couldn't be stuck because I needed to be more flowing and available for Caleb than what would allow me if I felt like I stopped and processed how that time period transpired so quickly. And what ended up happening was the bees pollinated them and the seeds spread, and they've now popped up everywhere. Not where the pots were necessarily. And it's almost like a forced reminder that I have to deal with that thought, that event, that process, this change to our family. And I think about, there's this saying that we subscribe to here at home of, if you show animals kindness, in return they will show you the world. And when you lose a pet, your world feels like it just gets smaller. But I think the lesson in this story, when I think about it, and the fact that Toby was normally a sniff and walk type of dog, where he just stopped and sniffed them, I think the lesson is, look at the flowers now, smell them now, take the photos now, hug and kiss each other now, say I love you now, because when a situation changes and it removes that thing that you love, the only thing that's going to be left are the flowers or the photos and those last thoughts about where you hugged and how that felt. And I think in those last days, this idea of enjoy these things, do them now, is a reminder to just stop and run. And change is hard. And these flowers have been guarding this porch. And this porch is going to undergo some changes in the next couple weeks. And some of these flowers may be moved. And that feels like I'm moving part of Tobi. And that's not how I'm actually thinking about it. I wish Tobi was here. In some ways, I wish that component, I love our dogs now, but I wish that the structure of our family a couple years ago was largely still in place. I miss those other two dogs. Things felt simpler. So I'm not going to be doing anything really productive today. I'm just going to chill and celebrate Tobi by memory.
Come here.
Oh, I hear that truck again.